Good morning, everybody. It's me, David T. We're live here in Fort Thomas, Kentucky at Tower Park, which is the old historical military post here. And today we have the dedication of the Vietnam Memorial here in Tower Park. This monument has 36 names on it, and those are all people from Campbell County, Kentucky, who passed away during the Vietnam War. Hello, Jordan. Thank you for being here. Right now I'm over at our Charters of Freedom area here, right by the Fort Thomas Military and Community Museum. Just a second and I'll flip this around so you can see a little more. Laid out exactly as our Charters of Freedom are in Washington, D.C. And the Bill of Rights. Straight back is the building is the museum, and the new Vietnam Memorial is right up over here. Thanks, Jordan, and thanks very much for being here. Anybody else who's in, thank you. During the ceremonies, I will not be talking. Yeah, of course, we're going to pay pure tribute to these people who gave all. One of, I understand that there's a couple of them on here from this community of Fort Thomas, Kentucky, one of which, Joseph Shaw Ross, he was shot down and his remains have never been found. I am friends with his brother Steve, and Steve is here, he's around. I haven't seen him yet right now this morning, but we'll see if we can't get a little interview with him, because Steve actually had the opportunity to be with his brother in Vietnam the day before he was shot down. So, say quite a friendship and something else to have. And of course, this means a lot to him. He came up from Florida to be here for this event. As we're moving around here, things are starting up. I realize I'm a few minutes early, but that's all right.
So then he did confession.
This is going to be a great event. Wonderful dedication ceremony coming up. Yeah. And we've got the Young Marines over here. Yeah. Miss Lynn and the Young Marines. Yeah. What can you guys tell us about the Young Marines? Anything? Yeah. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Young Marine Lance Corporal Branch Schrader.
All right, terrific. And what does your program do? What do you like about the Young Marines?
So the Young Marines is a national non-profit youth education and service program for boys and girls ages 18 to completion of high school. Founded in 1959 with only a few boys, and officially chartered on October 17, 1965, the Young Marines has grown to over 200 years with 9,000 youth members in 39 different states. The Young Marines promote the mental, moral, physical wellness of its members by teaching advisor leadership, teamwork, self-discipline, academic achievements, and honoring our veterans, so its members can learn and promote a healthy, drug-free lifestyle.
Terrific. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So this entire area, what's now known as Tower Park, is actually the original U.S. Army post. And this is the original armory. It's got 3 basketball courts upstairs and some rental rooms available, but that's the original armory from when this was an operating post. And the Cincinnati VA Medical Center has a location right over here, which has one of the top PTSD treatment centers in the nation, is right over there. Good morning, Pete. Very well. Hi, Sam. And this is the area that's just been done, and the new Vietnam Memorial for Campbell County, Kentucky. This was really brought on by one of the Vietnam veteran groups, Post 88. Is that correct? Post 88, I'm pretty sure. Vietnam Veterans Post 88?
I'm not a member of that, so I don't know.
I
think that's right.
Yes. So this is going to be the unveiling, and there is quite the storyline behind this and getting the granite and everything else. One of the people who was very heavily involved with that, Ron, is going to give us some information about that here a little later on as he's busy with people. Good morning. Very well. And yourself? The building right here behind you, or that you see in the background, is the military museum. It's one of the original homes here on the property. And where the Charters of Freedom, where I started, that area, the main base for that is the original foundation for the hospital that was here when it was the operating military post. So it's a great area, and wonderful facilities here in this park, and this is just going to add to it. The pathway will lead right around between the two, the Charters of Freedom, and now the Vietnam Memorial here. Jordan, thank you very much. How's everything going over in Thailand? Loved catching your stuff last night on that.
The bells don't ring as pretty as they used to. I was assigned to
For those who gave their lives, Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 88, LZ Bluegrass, Northern Kentucky. All gave some gave all. This is something else. And benches where family members could come up and sit and follow along with everything. Dedicated with love and admiration for the service and sacrifice of all our veterans and their families. Beautiful day, a little windy here. Please let me know if I'm getting any wind issues. Sorry, I don't have any butterflies to put over here. And I'll be moving over. Just standing right here at that corner for the ceremonies. And got several friends here that I know, and so actually this area here in Fort Thomas, if you like World War II history, February 25th, 1937, this is a location where Brigadier General retired Paul W. Tibbets, pilot of the Enola Gay. He enlisted here at Fort Thomas. He was in medical school over at University of Cincinnati and dropped out of that, decided he wanted to fly instead, came over and actually enlisted here. Copies of his enlistment paperwork are in the museum here as well, that I showed you of where that is. Good deal. Thank you. No lag, no worries.
Okay.
They had a good time.
They're busy trying to get stuff together. I'm looking around to see if I see Steve Ross real quick and try to catch him.
He was so proud of his
Okay. Several of these people up here today are joining us every Friday. If you're in this Northern Kentucky community area, Cincinnati Tri-State, every Friday morning there's a group, Veterans and Friends Coffee Club. We get together at Fort Thomas Coffee at the corner of Highland Avenue, North and South Fort Thomas Avenue. Every Friday morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, a couple hours, and have coffee. It's the Veterans and Friends Coffee Club. Quite a few of the people up here are from part of that group as well that like to come up here. Let's see here now. We've got, I'd like to catch Ron over here, possibly beforehand. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, he was very, Ron, he was very instrumental in, has put a lot of time and effort into pulling this together and to make this happen. And part of the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 88 group. A lot of people coming out. Beautiful day for it.
How you doing, Dave?
Very well, and yourself?
Not bad.
What's going on?
Just up here for my uncle.
There you go. Yep, here comes the wind. If you were to come up here, there's some nice picnic type pavilions. You'd see one of them right over there. Tennis courts, pickleball courts over here to the side. Some hiking trails down through. So this is the main area that gets used in Tower Park, and they also have baseball field and such. But this memorial is being put in for all of Campbell County, Kentucky. This is the Vietnam Memorial for Campbell County, a very appropriate location to have it. Being the old Army post area. Let's see. Yeah. Friend of mine right back here, went to high school together. He also works at Dunn Schoolhouse with me. But luckily we don't have too much sun, a little overcast, but good deal. Let's see, can I find one? A lot of people coming up talking to Ron, of course. Let's see. So they've got, sorry, what? Yep. It's all good, I hope.
When I should have.
So this area, a long time coming for this, and will turn out to be real good.
I made everything.
And
Are you sure?
here we go.
Great Ron is
Let's see here now if we can get Ron. I hope that everything's coming out okay, or that we're not too noisy in the background. A lot of chatter, but that's okay. This event is scheduled to start 12 o'clock, so I wanted to start a little bit earlier so I could show things around just a little bit and a little build up for this. Being 12 o'clock scheduled start. This is Mr. Rolfe. Yeah, he's right there. Hey, Ron. A lot of people are ducking around, catching him. Otherwise, it's all right. So, as people are moving chairs around and such, I'm going to duck back over here, get my spot. How you doing, Mr. Kilmer?
Doing great. How about you?
Hey, all's good. All is good. Very well, and yourself? Good to see you. Okay, and we're going to go right here for this event. And since it's starting to fill in, I don't want to sort of be stepping in front of people, but we're going to hang loose right here and be ready for it.
I don't know if you're good, but you're not my Well, it depends. No.
All right, let's see. We're just going to hang loose, folks. And thank you all very much for joining me. Hey, by the way, if you're new to it, thank you for coming in, and please go ahead and hit that like button on this, and also subscribe. You can share it out. Greatly appreciated. We'll let people witness this memorial dedication. Again, we are in Tower Park in Fort Thomas, Kentucky, which is the old original historical Army post here, which is now pretty well the entire post area. What was the Army post is a public park. We still do have the 478th Engineer Battalion Reserve Unit that works out of here. And Cincinnati Veterans Administration Hospital also has some facilities here on site to assist with the care that they give to our veterans and those that need it. Right now we're just hanging loose, waiting for about 18 minutes. Just about 18 minutes and we'll be ready to go. All right. From what I understand, there's representatives from basically 4 different classes of the local high school here as well. who graduated in the 60s. Families could come in, and there's a couple picnic tables here that set off to the side a little bit that they could come up and have a little lunch, you know, sit down, relax, have a drink, and visit the loved ones, any one of the 36 names that are here. So we'll see what's going on. So Sam, what's going on? You should have just linked to mine. You should. What? I'm live. Yeah. Yeah, you should have just linked to mine. You haven't looked at Facebook or any of my notices. I put it out 2 days ago. Nah. So how's everything going otherwise? Good? Things going good? Right.
Anything you're excited for this year?
Yeah. So I heard Chanda was supposed to be here.
Yeah, I think she was getting the drinks and such.
Oh. There you go. What? Folks, we're just waiting for the start of this memorial dedication here for, this is the Vietnam Memorial for Campbell County, Kentucky, located in Tower Park, Fort Thomas, Kentucky. So we're just holding on here a little bit. Jordan, anybody in here, go over and follow Epcot Forever. He's with his wife in Thailand right now, and he's having some great streams from over there. Where did... Okay, let's see. Somebody I was looking for. Saw him a second ago. Oh, I see him. They got moved. Several years have gone into pulling this memorial together. Not necessarily an easy thing, and they've really been tied up with the closure of the canals and stuff. This event was supposed to have happened a month ago. So right now we're just... Hello, that crazy Disney lady, Tanya, welcome in. Welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you to your husband and you for your service to our country as military families. You know, this is the dedication of the Vietnam Memorial here in for Campbell County, Kentucky. It has names of 36 residents from Campbell County who gave all in Vietnam. Thank you very much for being here. Just got started a few minutes early because I didn't want to have this event start and be running, trying to get it all up and under control. Right now, I think we got about 12 minutes. How are you doing? What's going on?
Willie.
What you been up to, man?
Not much.
Staying out of trouble?
Yeah, that's right. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Real good.
I heard you were here, so I want to say hey.
Thanks very much.
All right, thanks. You too, man.
Hi, how are you? Good. Terrific. Terrific. Joel with you? Hello, Joel. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. How's everything?
People are always asking me if I've got anything to do, if I've seen you or heard anything. They're asking me.
All you have to do is give me a call. I don't hear from anybody from there. It's like I died.
You tried to? No.
Yeah, I did.
You're like me though in that account, it's so. Kathy, thanks for all you did in that with the USO. Sorry?
You're still doing from there?
Oh yeah, every Monday night.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Every Monday out there, every Tuesday.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Our old director from the USO just stopped in. She's here. She had to retire from the USO out here at CVG due to some health issues and that. And I had no idea she was going to be here, but she just came in real good. I guess I'm glad I got the spot that I did. Hello, Miss Chanda.
I was trying to get to you a minute ago.
I know. Hi, how are you? Great. Doing well. I told Sam, I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm on the city's page. I said, why didn't you just send the link to my stream? And I'm like, what? So, thanks for being here. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Yes, Tanya, yes, this is a Vietnam memorial and paying tribute to the 36 residents of Campbell County, which of course is comprised of numerous cities, Fort Thomas being one of them. And with this having been the military post previously, the fact that we have the Charters of Freedom here, memorial, monument, and also a military museum in the area is very heavily visited and used. Is one of the reasons that they decided to bring this memorial to this location. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, folks. There we go. So there's, of course, Vietnam veterans, VFW representatives, and and I've got people wanting to take pictures of me while I'm streaming. That's good, though. It's all good. Oh, Tanya, I just saw your message. Sorry. I got a little glare. Believe it or not, it's just the angle of the sun's got it just a little bit. Kelsey is actually lifeguarding at Great Wolf. She had in-service this morning and is tied up all day. She had to be there at 7 o'clock this morning and will be there. She won't get home till like 10 o'clock tonight. So, in-service and then lifeguarding, all kinds of stuff that way. As you can see, though, we're getting a good crowd gathering around.
Oh no.
This area over here, those buildings are actually Those buildings are all private homes now, and those are original officers' quarters from when this was a operating military post. There's a couple sections here where the general public have purchased those homes and are running them, or living in them, take care of them. Of course, they're all on the historical register as well. I am looking around for one person, Ron, who is gentleman who is really sort of instrumental in and worked on this, getting this monument or memorial built. He's going to talk with us after the ceremony, and I'm hoping to be able to catch up with Steve Ross, who is actually a friend of mine. He's in from Florida. His brother is memorialized on here, and his brother's remains, Joseph Shaw Ross. If you want to Google his name, yeah, he was shot down over Vietnam, and his remains have never been found. The Mission Barbecue in Mason, Ohio, actually has a memorial part for Joe Ross on their wall up there at Mission Barbecue. Yeah, they're talking, and of course nobody's hearing anything. Sorry. The PA might be tough with this crowd. Tanya, I think that you and I might maybe be louder than that PA. I offered to bring mine up, but that's okay. Mission Barbecue, and so, anybody else who's coming in for this event, thank you very much for joining the stream, and we're just here covering it, so we'll see what happens from there. Do appreciate you guys being here and joining in. Feel free to share it out, hit that share button, hit the like button. Let's see if we can't make this the biggest stream I've had with this memorial dedication. Let's give these guys their due and what they, the recognition that they should receive. I'm going to see several people from Honor Flight Tri-State, which is the Honor Flight group that goes out of Cincinnati. They take a full airplane with them every single time they go out, and they do 5 trips to DC each year. Tanya, I don't know if I'll have mission today or not. They're not here, but I do have plans to actually take Steve Ross to Mission Barbecue on Monday. Tomorrow I have a baptism, or sorry, not baptism, but first communion for our great niece. So that doesn't allow, and the timing of this doesn't allow for us to be at Mission to witness everything that they do at 12 o'clock, which you have seen and witnessed in Louisville. That was a fun trip, and always a pleasure having an opportunity to meet your sister. Boy, that was a few years ago, too, if you think about it. What, we're down to 3 years ago when you had that trip to Kentucky. People are gathering around.
Yeah, I saw you.
Aliens wear green hats. Darla, welcome in. Thank you very much for joining. Welcome in. We are in Tower Park, Fort Thomas, Kentucky for the dedication of the brand new Campbell County, Kentucky Vietnam Memorial. Let's see what they're... Okay, here we're getting ready to start, so I will not be talking during the event. We're going to make sure to cover this and hear it as best we can. And cover this, I believe I've got a good location to cover this entire event. Thank you all for joining me. Okay, here I will not see the chat. I'm going to turn the chat off so I can zoom in, zoom out a little bit from time to time as needed with the speakers and such. And so we'll take it from there. Hello, Mrs. Pendry. How are you? I'm hard to miss. No. I just sort of blend in. You know, that's good though. I'm sorry? Nah. It's great to see you.
I was happy to see you. I was actually back for I was like, well, my dad.
Okay, here, let's... Attention on deck!
I always knew that I had some people that, knew how to pay attention. Good afternoon. I'm Ron Allery, U.S. Army retired, and I'm the president of the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 88, LZ Bluegrass, here in northern Kentucky. I'd like to ask all the members of Chapter 88 to raise their hand and be recognized. There's some of them out there. Without your assistance and encouragement and support, it would have been hard to get this all accomplished. I want to welcome everyone to the dedication of the Campbell County Vietnam Veterans Memorial here in Fort Thomas. I'd first like to introduce two fellow veterans that I commonly refer to as my co-conspirators in this project. I'd like to ask them to stand up or jump out in front here so everybody can see them. Matt Kramer, the city administrator for Fort Thomas. And also Tim Rolfe from Rolfe Monument. Without these two gentlemen and their Herculean efforts to get this project done with the staff of Rolfe Monuments and Fort Thomas Public Works crew and their contacts, this project would never have been realized. I'd like to also thank all the donors who've made this dream and plans for this memorial come to fruition. Last but by no means least, I want to say a loving thank you to my wife, Sherry. Without her, I'd never been able to do all the things that I do for veterans around the county. A very sincere thank you to all of you for coming today. As most of you know, Vietnam veterans didn't receive a real warm reception when they came home from Southeast Asia. The public seemed to blame the soldiers, sailors, and airmen for problems that were beyond our control. As a result, most Vietnam veterans just tried to blend in and quietly pick up their lives where they were before they left for Vietnam. And it's those things have just been, a long time hurt for so many. For many years, we tried to ignore the protests and the divisiveness in our country and the cost to our veterans and their families, those that managed to come home and those that made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. We realize that we must never forget those that live only in our memories. This memorial is a place of healing, not just for the families of those young men that made the ultimate sacrifice, but also for all of us that came home to the misplaced anger of our fellow countrymen. Today and forever, we must remember and honor the 36 young men that Campbell County lost during the performance of their duties in Vietnam. To begin the ceremony, I'd like to ask you to stand and join me and the young Marine in the Pledge of Allegiance, the flag of our great nation. And please remain standing for the national anthem and the invocation.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I'd like to ask Aaliyah Partutu, an 8th grade student from the Highlands, for the national anthem. I'd like to bring up one of my chapter mates, Larry Wilson, chaplain for chapter 88, the invitation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we seek your blessing on this very ground. We ask you to make us forever mindful of the sacrifice of the men etched upon this memorial. We will treat this site as hallowed ground and forever remember those who answered the call of our great nation. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, we'll go back and take a chair and say, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a seat, please take it. I'd like to ask our county judge executive if you'd like to make a few comments for us.
Sure. I have more than a few comments. Currently, they're out of order. There we go. Thanks, Ron. That's something that we need to do, actually. I'm going to suggest to you, and you'll not find it hard to believe, that while all of us had something to do with making this memorial a reality, the lion's share of the credit needs to go to Ron. Ron, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We are here to reflect upon the meaning of duty, honor, and sacrifice in the context of a war that divided our nation. I think a grave injustice was done both to the men and women who served in Vietnam and to their memory. We're going to do a little something to correct for that here this afternoon. So I'm really proud that this project was completed and that so many people are here. You've all probably heard the expression, freedom is not free. 36 young men from Campbell County who died defending our country and our freedom are being honored and remembered here today, representative of thousands who fought, suffered, and died on our nation's behalf. The war in Vietnam was extremely complicated politically and militarily. It was also the first war that played out on our television screens. The American public was all in favor of the intervention there in the beginning. But the war lasted a long time, though. In a series of battles called the Tet Offensive, launched in 1967 by North Vietnam and its sympathizers in South Vietnam, it was a big deal. But the offensive was soundly defeated. But you wouldn't know it because the support of the American public from that point on began to erode in view of the losses of American life and the suffering that our people could see on television. Protests against the war in the United States increased in size and tempo, and over the course of several years, an effort then was made to better train the South Vietnamese army so they could take over the burden of their own defense. In the meantime, the United States began to withdraw its forces and attempted to negotiate a peace treaty, which finally was signed. 2 years after that, we completed our withdrawal. North Vietnam invaded the South and took over the country. Okay, so I vastly simplified 10 years of war in a couple of paragraphs, but there are a lot of people in this crowd who didn't live through it, as many of the rest of us did. It's important that you know the backdrop. 58,000 American service members died over the course of the conflict. I think we all learned a series of extremely expensive lessons out of the incredible heartbreak of this conflict. we learned that it really is possible to win the battles and yet lose the war. There were not really any major battles in the war that we lost, and yet our objective, that of keeping communist governments and influence out of Southeast Asia, we didn't achieve. And then there's the most difficult truth to swallow in all of this. War is not just fought on the front lines, it is fought at home in the hearts and the minds of those who must support the effort if it is to succeed. I explained a little bit about how the war unfolded to give a sense of why many Americans eventually opposed the war. And in the aftermath, many of them tried to put the whole thing out of their minds. Actually, many did more than that. As Ron pointed out, they blamed our servicemen and in many cases treated them shamefully. And perhaps uniquely in American history, too many of those who fought and suffered for us in this particular war, subtly or otherwise, were disrespected. Nobody thought to think that rather than being disrespected in the circumstances, bearing the torch for a nation that didn't appreciate sometimes what they were doing, there should have been more, not less respect for the men and women who served. May I ask how many of you are Vietnam veterans? If you raise your hand. Thank you for your service. While I was not a veteran myself, my father-in-law was a veteran of 3 wars. One of my best friends from college was a highly decorated Vietnam vet. Ken Schultz, who ran our county's road department for many years, is also a Vietnam vet. I learned some, yes. I learned some things from them and other veterans that I want to share. First and most emphatically, most of us do not and cannot understand what they went through. There are some things in life we have no hope of understanding unless those things happen to us, and war is one of those things. Knowing no better, it's no surprise that we discount the sacrifices made. We underestimate what it took to serve. War is hell, remember, an ugly, deadly business. When a person is in a combat zone, the only sensible reaction is to be scared to death. That's true in every war. Bravery is not being without fear. It's actually something much more impressive than that. Bravery is doing your duty in spite of being afraid or even terrified. We ask the soldier to override the strongest of human instincts, the instinct for self-preservation, and to put himself or herself in harm's way for our sakes. And this happens far from the comforts, the reassurance, and the support of family and friends. I'd say thankfully it's evident our public has grown up since the Vietnam War, but let's say it plainly. There never should have been any question about honoring and supporting our troops. And that must never happen again. We are here today because the heaviest burdens of war are borne by a relative few in our society. 36 of our own, sons of Campbell County, made the supreme sacrifice for us and our freedom. That is the reality. About 50 years ago, in a far-off war which became very real for their families and friends, they served when it was unpopular. It's fitting and proper, even after all of this time, to dedicate this monument to their memory so that we will never forget. As Abraham Lincoln said, so that these honored dead shall not have died in vain. That is the clearest expression of the debt we all owe them. We should conduct ourselves so that these honored dead shall not have died in vain. God bless them, each and every one, and may God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, veterans all, this is Campbell County's Vietnam Veterans Memorial for all of us. As award-winning singer-songwriter Steve Bonnefield, who grew up here in Campbell County, I might add, gives us a song about the last parade.
I wrote this song for a friend of mine, the mother of a fallen soldier from Afghanistan. But it is for all our Gold Star families. And we're thankful for their sacrifice. I didn't know the boy, but I had to go. I knew his mom many years ago. There were hundreds there, and I was one. Come to pay respect to the fallen son. As I left my home, I took my flag and I took my place on the town's main parade. There were little kids and bikers there for a single cause to show they care. Thank you, son, for how you fought that day. Thank you, Mom, for the son you gave. The least I can do is a little glory wave as the tears rain down on your last parade. He grew up next door to a friend of mine, played football, all defensive line. He had a real good job for several years, then he felt the need to volunteer. Thank you, son, for how you fought that day. Thank you, Dad, for the son you gave. The least I can do is let old glory wait as the tears rain down on your last parade. He married well on a summer day. His anniversary was only weeks away. Now he's laid to rest by his grandpa's grave as the veterans play Amazing Grace. On the other side of Heaven's Gate, a horse rode up with a brand new saint, and another son had met him there for his first parade in his new town square. Thank you, son, for what you did that day. Thank you, Lord, for the son you gave. The least I can do is let
this time I'd like to ask Paul Kramer and Wayne Stewart, both members of Chapter 88, to step up, and we will read the 36 names of the young men that are now inscribed on this memorial. Private First Class Frank Leslie Adamson, Marine Corps, died June 1965. Lance Corporal Delmar Anderson, Marine Corps, died January 1968. Corporal Michael Edward Ball, Army, died April 1971. Specialist 4, Frederick E. Bowerly III, Army, died April 1968. Corporal John Bertram Becker, Marine Corps, died August 1968. Corporal Robert Raymond Burning, Army, died May 1970. Lance Corporal Thomas Joseph Burning, Marine Corps, died June 1970. Private First Class Patrick Earl Blagg, Marine Corps, died April 1969. Specialist 4 Robert J. Blunt Jr., Army, died February 1969. Private First Class Charles Marshall Bradford, Army, died October 1966. Sergeant Kenneth Mark Bryant, Army, died December 1968. Private John Edward Cottingham, Army, died September 1969.
Specialist 4, John Charles Freppen, Army, died December 1967. Sergeant Thomas Jefferson Gabbert, Army, died September 1969. Specialist 4, Clarence Hall, Army, died November 1967. Sergeant Dennis Lee Henry, Army, died August 1969. Private First Class Nicky Ray Highlander, Army, died August 1968. Corporal David Allen Jones, Marine Corps, died May 1968. Private First Class Gary Stephen Jordan, Marine Corps, died February 1967. Specialist 4 Osborne Mattingly Jr., Army, died June 1970. Sergeant Donald Wayne Miller, Army, died December 1967. Staff Sergeant Edward P. Moore, Army, died July 1970. Staff Sergeant Patrick O'Reilly Orr, Army, died April 1971. Lance Corporal Troy Everett Powell, Marine Corps, died May 1969.
Private First Class Gerald Rolfe, Army, died June 1986. Captain Joseph Shaw Ross, Air Force, MIA, August 1968, declared deceased. Specialist 4, Richard Barry Sams, Army, died March 1967. Captain Albert Francis Sayer Jr., Air Force, died September 1967. Lance Corporal Marvin Albert Schaefer, Marine Corps, died April 1967. Staff Sergeant Gary Lee Slider, Army, died July 1970. Corporal Ronald Vincent Silversack, Army, died April 1966. Private First Class Edward Arthur Smith, Army, died June 1967. Staff Sergeant Eugene Spencer, Army, died October 1968. Private First Class Bobby Reese Sumter, Marine Corps, died September 1968. Captain Charles Frederick Swope, Air Force, died November 1966. Lance Corporal J.C. Tipton, Marine Corps, died November 1966.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's 36 young men for the Campbell County Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And I'd like to ask you to please stand if you're able, the 21-gun salute, and the pass. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that have a chair would like to sit back down, by all means, have a seat. This actually concludes the dedication ceremony of the Campbell County Vietnam Veterans Memorial. If you would like to take a look at the memorial up close and look at the pavers, I might add also that we still do have some pavers available. If you'd like to, after this ceremony, if you'd like to purchase one of those pavers and honor a fallen veteran, or just put your name on it to support the program. You can see me afterwards, or you can go to our email site, or our email site, our P.O. Box 188 in Alexandria, send it, and we'll provide you the information. And also, over in more wind here, I think. Over in the armory, we're going to have some light refreshments and a little bit of something to eat. If you'd like to join us over there, by all means do so. And once again, thank you to everyone for coming and honoring our veterans. We appreciate that very, very much. Thank you.
This is Steve Ross. Steve Ross is up looking at his brother's name, Joseph Shaw Ross. Steve's in the blue shirt. Back out here a little bit. Okay, let's see if we can go catch Ron, or possibly somebody else here real quick. It's on my Facebook page. Or, sorry, not Facebook. I mean my YouTube channel. It's me, David T. It's me, David T. The letter T. And I'm live. This is live right now. So everything is. You can pull it up right now if you go to YouTube.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to try to make my way through here to, of course, up to the memorial. You see Steve Ross. We also need some time here to chat with Ron in order to hear about the Jim, good to see you, sir. Okay. Hello, Deanna. How are you? Deanna, when are you going to be at the museum? I got a couple of things to drop off to you. Okay, well, I didn't bring it with me today, unfortunately. Okay. 1 to 5 tomorrow? Great. Jordan, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, through it. It's trying to make my way up that way. Let's see. Excuse me, please. Can I get through? Thank you. Okay, I'm trying to get over here to Ron. So we'll. Hey, Ron. Yeah, you want to talk, or you want to tell us about the memorial a little bit and everything that we went through with it, or?
Well, I'd like to, but I got a ton of things going on here.
Okay, sure.
Trying to get with, you know.
Well done.
Thanks. Can we do it in a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your bungee cords and stuff loose.
I wouldn't do that yet. We're good. We'll let it ride. Let it ride. I'll get them. It's just that.
Because it'll fall over.
Exactly. I mean, as soon as we do it, that's when something's going to go down, and somebody's going to fall over it, and so we'll just let it ride. We're good. I'm trying to get to Steve.
Steve.
He's up there in the blue shirt. No. Ross. He was at the coffee yesterday.
Yes.
His brother Joe is on there.
Yeah, I'm sure Dad's never turned down. Shane doesn't want to say he has a lot to do.
Well, you know what? I gotta say all the time, but this is the time when the case was seen yet.
Did you get all of it?
I got it all, plus more. I mean, I've got people in Thailand watching. Literally, I do.
I believe you.
Where did he go? There he is. Steve. How are you? Steve, can we chat for a couple minutes? Is it possible to chat for a couple minutes? Let's go right over here real quick. Excuse me, please. Hey, Steve. I was just trying to get out of the way so we're not blocking. Whoa, got it?
Yeah.
Hi. Okay. Yeah, I'm told you I was going to do a live stream of it, so I'm live right now.
Okay.
Would you mind? Are you up to sharing with us your experience when you were with your brother the day before?
Well, I was up.
Would you share that with us on camera?
Yes.
Okay. Here, just a second. Okay, folks. This is Steve Ross. His brother Joe is on the memorial. Just a second. Back it out a little bit. I want to back up a little bit just because. Okay, there we go. So, and Steve actually had the opportunity to be with his brother the day before, correct?
I was with him the whole last week of July of 1968, the whole week with my brother. And the last week of July, 31st of 1968, Joe and I were talking about his mission. He took off on his mission on July 31st, and that morning of August 1st, I was at the end of the flight line in a Goonie Bird, getting ready to fly back in the train, and two colonels stopped the aircraft. They came out to the aircraft and told me my brother was shot down. And since then, my brother in August has been missing 56 years. And my brother is a hero. He was my idol. You wouldn't believe what he and I did together growing up. He was a fabulous guy. And they sent me to Scottsfield for a year. I lied on my dream sheet. I went back over Vietnam for another year, hoping to find out about my brother. And I'm hoping not. I got over there and said, send me to Da Nang, and they sent me to Saigon. And I'm very proud to say that I had 2 tours in Vietnam, and anyone in this country says anything different, they're full of baloney.
A few other expletives. Thanks for keeping it family friendly, I might say.
Yeah.
Which base was that? When you were with him for the last week? Where was that?
Da Nang.
In Da Nang.
Yeah.
All right. As I know, of course, we have the bridge here on Highland Avenue, which crosses I-471, which is a memorial bridge to Joe. And
I remember back when they had a contest and they were voting. They had a vote on who were they going to name the bridge to, and Joe won it big time, and they dedicated the bridge to Joe.
Actually, I found out as we were preparing for this, my sister-in-law still has a armband bracelet that was done for Joe back when we were hoping to find him, going back into, I guess, in the 70s, and she still has that. Yeah. Now, Monday, we have got to get to Mission Barbecue. You know, I gave you my contact number and that. Let's make those plans. We'll meet up in somewhere. And you got 3 of you guys here or 2? What? 2 of you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
is that still on?
That is still on.
Well, you know, it's funny. Let me tell you about that week when I was up there. I was up there. One of the Goonie Birds during a rocket attack, a POL truck hit a prop on one of our Goonie Birds, and it bent the prop. And I was up there, and I put a prop together and put a prop on it. And my brother was helping me. He was a lieutenant. He was up there helping me put a prop together. And one of the cops says, "What are you doing, Lieutenant?" I said, "I'm helping my brother put a prop together." And he was going, "What the heck?" And it was so funny that he was putting a prop together. And also, one day during that week, Joe woke me up and got me out of my bed. And have you heard of the O2 fact bird? He woke me up and he put me in O2 fact bird. His roommate was a fact pilot, and I went on a fact mission. And oh, that was crazy. And I don't know what a fact bird did, but you go up in a fact bird, and the fighters were too fast, and the fact birds had these flares, and they shoot these flares where the people on the ground tell you where they were located, and the flares mark the spot, and then the Phantoms and the F-100s and the F-105s go in there and bomb right there. And they go in there like this, and they go, ooh, and they drop their flares, and they go around in a circle. And then we come back, and we land, and I'm white. You know, and I get out of the airplane like this, and I'm going like this, and I'm cursing my brother out, and the people are going there, are you okay, Lieutenant? Yeah, they said, yeah, that's my brother, that's my brother. So, yeah.
And what platform was Joe flying? He was in a Phantom, wasn't he?
F-4D Phantom.
Okay, the F-4D.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure it was the Phantom.
Yeah. I was working at that time.
I'm going to turn a little bit so I don't get this wind in the microphone.
Years later, I was working for civil service for the government, and I was working a lot with McDonnell Douglas on the F-15 program, and they looked up that aircraft for me at McDonnell Douglas and the
wow.
and everything. So yeah.
So quite a history and memory that you've got, and the memories that you have with your brother. It's amazing, and thank you so much for your service to the country. That's we've got a good, long-standing friendship, and which I greatly cherish and honor, and I thank you.
The guy, you wouldn't meet someone. It's a shame, all these stupid wars, and I mean 58,000, and all the people that were so super to die. You know?
Right.
Yeah. It's bad.
Thank you. Wait. Okay. No, but yeah, you've got my number. Let's figure 11 o'clock to go up to Mission Barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah, because you need to go up there, experience Mission Barbecue. It's at the field. Take the Field Turtle exit off of 71 up to. You stay to the left side of the exit ramp. It's Mason Montgomery Road. Yeah, if you go to the right, it goes down to Field Turtle. If you go to the left, it goes over to Mason Montgomery, and then so doing that, stay to the left side. It loops around. It's about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles up on the left-hand side, just past the Walmart sign. You want to go for lunch? Get there 11:30, 20 minutes till 12. Order your food. You get your food, and the food is incredible for barbecue. And then you.
Excuse me, so you're Carol Field's son?
I am.
We moved into 17 Raintree after she had moved out and sold.
Oh.
But she knows my husband, Mike Veneman. He does all of our taxes. That's my husband.
Absolutely.
Small world.
What'd she call you? Say, my son's up there? No. No, but every day at 12 o'clock, the reason I say get there before 12.
Because it's packed.
Every day at 12 o'clock.
That means it's a good thing.
100% of everything stops in the restaurant, and they do the national anthem. Everybody gets up, and it is something to see and witness.
That's awesome. Try to get him up there. We will definitely get him up there.
Yeah. So, well, I gave him my name and number because we got to get him. Well, I gave it to him in writing yesterday. So he's got my name and phone number. I'm tied up. We were tied up today that we couldn't do it with this. Tomorrow I have a first communion. And then on Monday, though, I was saying 11 o'clock. Figure we'll leave about 10 minutes after 11. We'll find a spot here locally, like maybe down at Kroger or someplace to meet, and then go up and have lunch up there, because there is a memorial tribute to Joe on their wall up there. So, and he needs to.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Where is Mike? Oh, hey Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good.
I didn't recognize you unshaved.
Unshaved.
Will you carry your bait?
Not right now.
All right. Slide around here. Excuse me, please.
Standing in the back.
You don't see your kiddos much?
I'm going to get up to the memorial.
Yeah, you did good too. Another yellow one up here.
They want you to picture for something.
Picking up the donuts for church.
It was a great
Whoa.
sermon. I love that.
What happened? There we go. Sorry, folks.
Well, I'm glad we got it there.
You take care.
Oh, thank you.
The gentleman, as we're looking at it here in the suit, is Mr. Rolfe from Rolfe Monument, who's the one who actually did the engraving, got the granite, and did everything, all the engraving, lettering, and installed the memorial, not monument, memorial. Trying to get to Ron. He's tied up. He's got stories about this. Real quick. Like father, like son here. And hello, Tom. How are you? Let's stand out a little bit. I think a lot of people headed over into the armory, the old armory building. Okay, here.
Nice job.
Can I get a picture?
You want us in it or I
Yeah. You ready, sir? Yeah, and you would be great as well, since you did the engraving and everything. We're going to get the story real quick as to what happened with the delay.
Yeah,
and that.
The first part was.
You mind being on camera? Yeah,
No,
I'm live.
no,
I'm
no,
live.
no. I just jumped to the second part
Sure.
with the bridge collapse in Baltimore. That the ship that had the granite in there was in the container was at the Savannah port, but it was anchored at sea. They couldn't get into the port, so I had to go down there and drive down there on Tuesday, spend the night, and when that container hit on Wednesday morning, get it, turn right around and come up so my guys could do all the engraving. They were there until 9 o'clock Thursday night engraving on these guys, so we were out here yesterday.
And that's on the pavers.
Yeah, that's on the pavers, yeah.
Now, how about with the granite itself?
You know, the main piece, all the black piece of this, that we got in kind of a somewhat timely fashion. You know, it was always the gray pieces always would drive me nuts. Yeah. And they come up special carrier, but we were able to work on these three main pieces, waiting for the other parts. Yeah. So it was touch and go there for a little bit. You know, and the original date was for last month. 29th of March was Vietnam Day.
Vietnam Day.
And then that's
Probably better weather today.
Yeah, that would be great.
And
That would be great.
Thank goodness we made the decision to push it back.
Yeah, for sure. The weather's better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you got it.
Well, great. No, thanks. You know, I was thinking that there was some tie-up with the main as well.
It
with
was.
the
Yeah, it should have been here earlier. Yeah, no, that was tied up also. That was probably about 4 weeks late.
I can tell.
So,
due to Suez Canal.
the Suez Canal and the cramp going on over there. Yep, same situation.
And then when they busted the bridge up in Baltimore, and all those ships that were headed into Baltimore, which is one of the busiest ports going, in the United States, turned around and they sent everything south, and it was Charleston and Savannah. It sat out there bobbed in the water for what, a week, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I remember Friday a week ago. You were when you came up to coffee that you had said that you were at least driving as far as Knoxville.
Yeah, and that didn't work out. I figured I'm just going to go all the way. I'm going to make sure that.
That way you were responsible. You had it. You knew it was the right thing.
Yeah. Like I said, I live a quarter mile from here. If this didn't get done, I was going to have to sell my house.
No, he was going to have to run fast.
That's right. Yeah.
No, outstanding job. Outstanding. It's wonderful.
A private discussion.
Is Tim Roth of Roth Monuments.
Oh my
made all
goodness.
this happen.
Oh my
Excuse
gosh.
me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I went to school.
And here we go. Here are the names. Name, branch of service, and the appropriate dates.
And that's when we started going backtracking on other things. And found that, he really was a Campbell County. Yeah.
Me too.
You had a Butler address. Yeah. Well, that's the way the mail was. Yeah. They drew a line just past the One Creek Church, and everybody from there south, even though they're in Campbell County, they now.
Yes, I'm Tim Roth.
They now, they're
Pendleton is here.
Okay.
Pendleton County thing.
I was listening to this whole
I'm
thing.
glad you guys straightened
Thursday
out.
night, I heard from Wayne Store, and Wayne worked on this with them.
Oh, yeah.
And Thursday night, I get a text. You're not going to believe it.
Oh, yeah.
Done. I
He
said,
had
even
he had
in gray.
a Butler address, so he can do that.
Yeah.
I served 6 years in the Army Reserve.
And right here, Joseph Shaw Ross.
65.
He is Steve Ross's brother. Steve gave us a little interview telling us about his time with his brother the entire week before he was shot down. And with that, folks, thank you all very much for joining us and being in. Feel free to share this out, and we're going to get going here. Everybody take care, have a great one, and thank you. Again, this is the Campbell County Vietnam Memorial, located in Tower Park, Fort Thomas, Kentucky.